Wait, how do you identify?
What?
Well, are you gay, bi, non-binary, ace?
I'm a lesbian, but I just wanted to let off confetti cannon. Also, this video is sponsored by Tails.com, so I'm totally putting this as a business expense.
Well, you know, it's just that you should really only be celebrating Pride if you're part of the LGBTQ plus umbrella, you know.
Oh, really? You're one of those?
Excuse me? One of those?
I just mean, isn't that pretty exclusionary?
I'm just helping to make sure that there are safe spaces for people who need them.
Sure, but a lot of people fall into the grey areas there. They just might not know where they stand right now, or they move from one point to another during their lifetimes. Or hey, maybe they just want to be supportive of someone that they love, or the community in general. It's good to have allies, isn't it?
Well, if they're the voices being heard and ours aren't.
Well, yeah, okay, good point. But I'm just really not going to go around giving everyone a rainbow purity test. Firstly, it sounds a bit gross, and secondly, confusing. I don't think many people would know how to answer that one.
Oh, purple, orange, magenta.
Oh, good for you. You're right though, being an ally can be tricky. We all know someone who isn't quite hitting the mark. I mean, Taylor Swift, your mum. So let's talk about what it actually means to be a good ally.
Boom. I'm in the studio. Firstly, I should probably warn you that I only got back from Cornwall 2 days ago, and it was a 7.5-hour trip on the way back, and I spent the entire time car sick beyond belief. So I feel like drunk right now, but I'm actually suffering from extreme exhaustion, and I can see 3 cameras. Quite sure there aren't 3 cameras, because even though my wife does love cameras, I did not okay her buying more. Also the side 2 are like translucent. So, babe, you don't get to claim allyship. Hot take, start with a bang. You don't get to absolve yourself of guilt or claim to be a great person by saying you're an ally. You can't like go around misgendering people but then claim it's okay because you're an ally to the trans community. Are you? In what way? Says who? Did you fill out the form? There is no form. I'm not saying that there should be a form. There probably shouldn't be a form. We probably shouldn't put ourselves down on forms. But what I am saying is that this is an application type of basis. And then we decide if we want you. You don't get to declare that you're an ally for a certain community. You just show up and do the work. Stand up for their rights, speak back to people in positions of power who want to do harm, be consistently educating yourself, be aware of the gaps in your knowledge, and platform those whose voices often aren't heard. Sure. We can say, I want to be an ally, or I hope I'm a good ally. It's something you can aspire to be, and it's something you can work towards, but it's an ongoing thing that the community you're allying for decides upon and can change their opinion on. And it's certainly never something you can use in defense of your poor actions. I can't be homophobic. I have a gay son and I'm an ally. Barbs, rein it in. Sure, but what's actionable? Great question. Very good question. Easiest thing you can do, love on some queers and let them shine. It could be famous people. It could be some people you know. It could be Great Uncle Neil, who lives with his best friend Robert and has the entire time you've been alive, and you've never really questioned it because it's always been that way. But they're super lovely and they still always put £5 in your birthday card. Maybe Uncle Neil and Robert could do with a visit. Or a sweet letter to say you're thinking of them. Find out their story. Correct family members who call Robert Neil's friend, even though they clearly know. Robert is his partner. They've been together for over 30 years. And just don't let the 2 of them be disrespected. The next time someone's planning a family event, you can make sure they've got a proper bedroom. Not the twin room near all the teens and kids, but a double near the other couples. Dignity. Don't out them. Make their lives uncomfortable, but just show up for them. If you found an amazing new queer artist, make an Instagram post about them. Watch the shows that Netflix marks as LGBTQ+, bring up those ratings, and champion the good ones. We know how to talk about the bad ones. We don't need to talk about them, it's fine. Promote the idea that queer media can speak to everyone, that there's a market for it, and that huge companies should put their money behind it. Yeah, I know you're gonna come for me here. Come for me here? Or you're going to come for me here, purists? You're coming for me. And you're going to say that queer things should be for queer people. But we need the money, okay? The straights have got the money. The point is to let queerness shine without centering yourself. And also the money. Make sure it gets money.
And speaking of being an ally to the most important person in your life, have you heard of Tails.com? Tails.com are a leading dog food brand in the UK who take pride in creating food tailored to each dog's individual needs. Tailor-made for your dog, unlike this bandana, which is for American dogs. Because every dog is as unique and individual as we are and should be celebrated. Tails.com makes their food 100% tailored to your dog, depending on their age, breed, lifestyle, and even taste buds. Because we all know our dogs can be terribly fussy. Unless, of course, they're a Labrador. I had a Labrador who ate a shoe once. Created by you, alongside vets, nutritionists, and the Tails.com algorithm, you can be sure to serve up the most nutritious meal for your dog that will get them dancing for their dinner every time. Click the link in the description to get 1 month of free dry food and 50% off wet food and treats from Tails.com now.
Sometimes you're going to feel queer. As an ally, you'll occasionally receive prying questions and outright homophobic attack. For one thing, if you're talking about and posting about queer media, your friends might be confused. But, that's part of being an ally. Being an ally means moving from a place of comfort and into the line of fire. These lights are hurting. Homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, and all the other phobias that trickle down from there are still very much a thing, and we are still a marginalised group, even as we become more visible. In fact, probably as we become more visible, it's obviously easier to spot us and thus wish to attack us. But you have to understand that. You have to understand and then stand against the homophobes. It's a huge part of being an ally, and the part that we're most grateful for. Thanks about that. Because whilst yes, those big meanies might be yelling about your kid or your sibling or your partner, they aren't actually yelling at you about an intrinsic part of yourself that makes you you, and you know, it's not really good for your mental health. Secondary to that is that you will occasionally get lumped in with the rest of us, and you're going to need to be completely and totally fine with that. We're all working together to normalise queerness as a social concept. Obviously it is itself completely normal. Even some animals have homosexual behaviours. I wrote my dissertation about that. Anyway, we're all normalising queerness, and you're on board with that, so you're going to be totally cool when someone asks you if you are. You are not the queer police. Yeah, we're all in this together, but also like, you don't get to define the words, you can't say who can and who can't come to Pride, you don't get to tell someone that they're dressed incorrectly, not even I get to do that. Obviously, step in if you see some gay being transphobic. It's not okay, they don't get a pass because they're gay. But otherwise, you're going to need to just listen to queer people, even when it doesn't quite feel like what you would want to do or to say. You're going to need to step back sometimes. Maybe have a look at some things you said in the past. Apologise. Make sure you're accountable. We all have to do with each other too, and it can be a minefield. But as long as we're bringing our best intentions and a willingness to listen, we'll make it through. Yes, I know. The bar for allyship is just so much higher now than just, I don't think gay people should burn in hell. But it's not the 90s anymore. But just remembering pronouns and to say wife when you came to our wedding and that's how we refer to each other is not that hard. Side note, why do people correct me with partner when I say wife? My wife is just running a bit late, but she said I can order for her. Okay, do you know what your partner wants to drink? I literally just said wife. And it's people I talk to frequently as well, not just like random one-off. Do they think they're being polite and inclusive? Because I just gave them the correct terminology, and the fact that they're not using it makes me feel like they don't believe a woman can be my wife, or I can have a wife because I'm a woman. Everyone, everywhere, all the time. Being an ally means supporting the entire LGBTQ+ community, not just in Pride Month, or later in the year if you're British and your town's Pride Parade is in the summer holidays, generally because it's still raining in June, or when a big piece of legislation is about to pass and it's in the news. And it doesn't just mean supporting the good-looking muscly gays or the socially acceptable lesbians with babies. It means supporting everyone, including the bisexuals in relationships that look straight from the outside. Haha, did you forget about them? Well, you shouldn't. It means standing up for things that you don't fully understand yourself because you've never experienced it, but you totally respect someone's right to their life, and you will champion them to the end of the earth, even when your friends and your family are being really quite rude about it. Disclaimer, stay safe. Please never put yourself in extreme danger, including physical, mental, emotional, and financial, because a YouTube video told you to. That's not a great idea. If you're learning how to be an ally, then consider oxygen masks on a plane. Make sure yours is securely fastened onto your face so that you can help other people. Thank you.
Click the link in the description to get 1 month of free dry food and 50% off wet food and treats from Tails.com now.
Good luck, my friends. Go out and make the world a better place.